Hey everybody, Glenn here with part two of our CSG SGC grade comparison video. And anybody that hasn't seen the first video, basically what I did is I've been taking cards, buying cards for my personal collection I'm trying to build, and buying them from CSG, PSA, different companies that supposedly grade more difficult than CSG does when it comes to vintage cards. So I've seen a lot of, I'll call it criticism of CSG since they started on forums and on different social media platforms that are saying that CSG is comparable to a BCCG or a BVG when it comes to grading vintage cards, which means that people are kind of discounting CSG vintage grades and assuming that they're, 1 to 2 grades higher than they should be. And I think a lot of that comes from, I want to say a lack of understanding. So the guy that, is over at Beckett that started kind of the BVG thing, he now works for CSG. And I think a lot of people just think because he's involved that means he kind of brought that same mentality that BVG had relative to vintage cards over to CSG, and they can expect a comparable result. So what I did, I've already done one video that shows PSA, which I'd recommend you go watch that one because it's pretty eye-opening as far as PSA's grading mentality. But this particular one is a smaller one. I've only got 4 cards here in this stack of cards that I sent to CSG. Now, I've already sent one, and I showed it in a previous reveal video. I had a 1959 Cleveland Browns team card that I purchased in an SGC slab, and I purchased it as a 8 overall, and it came back an 8.5 from CSG. So it ended up going up about half a grade by sending it to CSG. Now, these 4, 2 of these are we'll call it older label CSG, and 2 of these are the newer label CSG. So we're just going to go right through it and see how they stack up. So we're going to start off first with this 1950 Bowman Jim Martin rookie card, which graded a near mint 7. You can see this is the newer SGC label. And CSG gave this card a near mint plus 7.5. So 8.5 on centering, a 7 on corners, an 8.5 on edges, and a 7.5 on surface. So again, this particular card graded a half a grade higher than the CSG 7 that I cracked it out of. So pretty consistent with the first card I got. The second one I have here was from an older SGC slab. Again, another 1950 Bowman. This one, Tony Adamley. It got an 84 for the overall score, but you can see here it got a near mint 7 for the overall grade. And this particular card came back from CSG as a CSG 7. You see, you got an 8 on centering, 7 on corners and edges, and an 8 on surface. So the exact same grade that it received from SGC. Nice card. These 2 here are going to my 1950 Bowman, which I'm getting close to wrapping up. I need to get myself a better quality Marion Motley, and also a Autogram as the last one I've got to get, of course. So the 2 most expensive ones. But I'm happy with those grades. Third card here, I got another old label SGC 1957 Topps Ray Renfro. This got an 88 overall with a near mint 8 for the grade. And CSG gave this card an 8.5. Gave it an 8.5 on centering, 8.5 on corners, 8.5 on edges, and a 9 on surface. So across the board, this one got higher grades. It would have taken quite a bit of lower grades to get this down to an 8 from a CSG perspective. So overall, again, this one scored a half a grade higher than it did with SGC. Nice card. Again, going to my 50s collection I'm trying to build. So you can see a trend here. And the final card of this particular submission with SGC, or CSG, was originally bought a 1961 Fleer Galen Fiss rookie card. This was originally bought as a 8.5 near mint plus with the new SGC label, and CSG gave it an 8.5. So overall got a 9 on centers, corners, and surface, and an 8 on edges, which is what brought the grade down to a total of 8.5 overall. So the same exact grade that it received from SGC. So what does this tell us? I mean, what do we find out here? So let's go ahead and flip over to the evaluation here. So you can see that I ended up submitting 5 total cards to SGC. The first one, as I said, was this 1959 Fleer or Topps Browns team card. Had a 0.5 grade delta, so CSG graded a half grade higher. The Galen Fiss came back the same exact grade. The 1950 Bowman graded a half grade higher. The 1950 Bowman, same grade. And then the Ray Renfro, a half a grade higher. So overall, I would say that's pretty close. I think any grading company crossing over from one to the other, having no more than a half a grade difference one way or the other, is pretty damn good. I would say that it would appear as though CSG is maybe more likely to lean slightly higher than SGC. But with SGC, it's kind of gotten the we'll call it the reputation of being like the go-to place for vintage grading, because people seem to think they grade the most fair. And I think this evaluation here pretty much supports that CSG is kind of right in line with SGC. I guess maybe a little bit higher, but I would definitely say not anywhere near what they're suggesting in terms of BVG being a grade and a half, 2 grades higher than what you would get from one of the other grading companies, especially SGC, which is kind of got the reputation for being tough on vintage cards. So CSG is kind of right there with it, maybe slightly a little easier, but overall I'd say pretty much right in line. So overall I'm fairly happy with it. I purchased 4 cards, 5 cards if you count the other one from the previous submission from SGC. I resubbed them to CSG and got pretty much the same grades. A couple went up a little bit, a couple stayed exactly the same. So I think overall what this should do, or should help to do, I realize it's only a 5-card sample set, so it's not, I can already hear people watching this video going, oh, well, if you did this with 150 cards, you might get something completely different. And then there is obviously some validity to that. What I would have expected to see, I guess, if there was this huge gap between, what CSG does and what SGC does, is I would expect to see at least some evidence of that. In this particular case, I purchased 7s, 8s, and 8.5s in SGC. You would stand to reason that I should have gotten some 9s, 9.5s, maybe even from CSG if they truly were grading so much easier. And in no case did I get that kind of jump as far as the overall grade is concerned. So, and unfortunately, I can't really tell if the subgrades are higher in any particular case, because SGC doesn't do subgrades. So at the end of the day, I think it was a pretty successful test with if the goal in mind was to prove that CSG is comparable to SGC from a vintage grading perspective, then I would say it was a successful test. If I was trying to prove that CSG was lenient and more like a BVG or a BCCG than an SGC, I would say it was a failure. So obviously I'm happy that what I'm reading on the forums and what I'm seeing on social media doesn't appear to be based in any, I'll call it, solid data or facts. At least I've never seen a video that actually shows where the people sent cards that were graded by SGC to CSG and got much higher scores, or vice versa for that matter. So I think this is one of the only videos I've seen online that actually shows where a collector was willing to make the investment of buying CSG cards and cracking them and sending them in the CSG. Like I said, I'll probably end up, I've got a lot of cards I'm trying to buy to complete my sets that I'm doing for the Browns. I'm sure somewhere along the way I'll end up grabbing some additional SGC slabs, and I think at this point I would feel fairly confident buying an SGC and cracking it to send it in and adding it to my CSG collection, because obviously the collection I'm trying to build, I want it to all be in CSG cases, not a mixture of cases. So like I said, if you enjoy the content, guys, I appreciate it. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, give me a like on YouTube. I'd appreciate it a lot. You can sign up for notifications or whatnot if you want to see when I got new content coming out. I will be releasing a new video kind of summarizing what I saw with my resubmission to SGC, as well as my PSA crack and sub that you can catch out on another video, and kind of summarize what I see is going on in the grading community these days, because I really take issue with some of it, and some people have said it. I've read it online. I think some people agree with me, and some people obviously will disagree with me, but I think it's good to kind of get it out there and let people hear different opinions. So I will be releasing something here in the near term, kind of going over, based on my experience thus far with a newer grader like CSG, what I'm seeing, and what I think, or what I would like to see in the hobby that I think would be healthy change or healthy modification to the way that we operate when it comes to graded cards, because I think, it's in real danger of, collapsing if there's not something that changes soon. So with that being said, like I said, if you like content, I would really appreciate the likes. I've been doing this for a while. I think I'm finally up to around 150 subscribers on the YouTube channel, which is, I guess for me, I'm pretty happy with it, because I'm not like anything special or anything like that. I'm not doing anything super fancy. I don't have a soundboard or anything like that, so I know I'm probably not as entertaining as some of the other people on here, but I do appreciate the people that have subscribed and share this with their friends and stuff on Facebook, if they like the content. So that being said, I will see you guys later, and thanks for watching.